The Swordsoul deck, also known as the Xiangjian deck, is poised to become one of the strongest decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! When it releases in the Burst of Destiny set this year. The deck has the ability to put up strong boards with boss monsters such as Baroness de Fleur, as well as run several hand traps to further disrupt the opponent. In addition, the Swordsoul deck is consistent and great at playing through interruptions, with several extenders that pressure the opponent to have multiple ways of stopping the deck. It also offers versatility through the Tenyi engine, Destiny Hero engine, and numerous tech cards that work well in the deck. For these reasons, many believe that the Swordsoul deck will be Tier 1, if not the very best deck of the format. However, despite how strong the Swordsoul deck promises to be, it is equally good at getting players to make illegal plays. Due to the numerous restrictions and subtle wordings in the card text, players will very often summon monsters they cannot or forget to activate key effects. Now, I know some of you stopped listening as soon as I said card text, but unfortunately you have to do some reading if you want to win in this game. Making just one of these mistakes, or letting your opponent get away with one of them, could easily lose you a duel or even a match. So it's vital to understand the deck even if you're not planning to use it yourself. Hopefully this video will allow you to catch Yu-Gi-Oh! Criminals, or at least stop you from becoming one yourself. I'll be going over some common mistakes in both the Tenyi and Destiny Hero variants of this deck. For our first play here, we're going to be going to the Tenyi variant of the deck. So this play happens with Ashina. So first you special Ashina, you go into the Monk, and you use its effect to special a Tenyi from the deck. Okay? And then you go into Tactician, and then you go into Baroness. So what was the illegal play here? Well, the illegal play was that you can't go into Baroness because it is a warrior type monster, and Ashina here locked you into worms from its effect. So be sure not to forget that, because you're gonna be in for a nasty surprise when you try to summon out Baroness. And you'll have to summon out the Duke here. And for the second illegal play here, this could happen technically with either variant of the deck, but I think it's going to be more common in the 10-year version. So let's see what happens here. Ashina again. This time let's just normal summon out Moye and take a token. And then let's link summon for Ashina here. Oh, what was the problem there? Did you get it right? Well, it's because of the token here. So if you special summon this token here, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except synchro monsters while that token is on the field. So you actually have to synchro first into anything, but this works here. And now that the token is off field, then you can link into the Monk. Okay, so here we have another very similar play here. Just to go over what I mentioned in the last replay. So here we're going to go into Baroness first. And it doesn't matter. That's not the important part. The important part is that. Okay. What's the problem with this? Same problem right here. Because even on the trap card, you can special summon one token. If you do, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except synchro monsters while that token is on the field. So you cannot activate Fusion Destiny here. Sucks to suck. You gotta get this off the field, or just don't summon it off of the trap effect, or banish something besides the trap. Yeah, just don't do this, because you're gonna lose your chance to get Phoenix Enforcer out. You're gonna be sad. And the next one here is probably one of the most common that I see, and also perhaps one of the most devastating misplays. You really don't want to do this. This can happen only in the Destiny Hero build, and Also to hero players, since it's related to Phoenix Enforcer. So let's say you're playing Imperial Order or whatever in the main deck, doesn't matter. Something that you want to pop. So according to Fusion Destiny's effect, Fusion Summon 1 Fusion Monster, blah 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 blah, destroy it during the end phase of the next turn. So let's say during your opponent's turn you shotgun Imperial Order during the draw phase or whatever. Ignore that. Let's just say you do it in the draw phase and you have to pay 700, that doesn't matter. Then say at the end of the turn, you obviously don't want Imperial Order to be there during your turn, so you activate Phoenix Enforcer, which you might as well do since Fusion Destiny it's going to get destroyed anyways. So you destroy itself and Imperial Order because you can destroy any card on the field. By the way, another important thing here is Phoenix Enforcer does not target, so don't declare a target, because then you're gonna help your opponent there. Just say, I activate Phoenix Enforcer, and then your opponent responds or not, and then you destroy the cards. Okay, and then you go to the next turn, and then you special summon Phoenix Enforcer. But wait, what's the problem here? Did you get it? Problem is, you didn't activate Phoenix Enforcer's graveyard effect. So let's read the card. I know everybody hates doing that, but let's actually read it here. You can destroy both one card you control and blah 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 blah. Not the important one. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can activate this effect. Special summon 1 Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard during the standby phase of the next turn. So this is optional. You don't have to activate it, which means if you don't activate it, you forget to activate it, and then you start playing, and then you let your opponent continue, or you do your play during your turn, you're not going to be able to say later, oh wait, I'm just going to summon Phoenix Enforcer. Because your opponent, especially if you're in a tournament, your opponent's going to be like, no, screw you. You didn't activate it. And you're going to lose that. So you're not going to be able to summon your Phoenix Enforcer. So don't forget to activate it. And this play here is related to the last one, kind of. Just say you go into Long Yuan, and you go into Baroness or whatever, level 10. You activate Fusion Destiny or anything, doesn't matter. Again, it's really not important. You do something. That's the point here. You do something, then you summon. Then you go to your next turn or whatever. Then you say, oh wait. I burned you for 1200. Did you? No, you didn't. You didn't activate it. Just like with Phoenix Enforcer. When Long Yuan is sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, you can inflict 1200 damage to your opponent. You need to activate it. Because if you don't activate it, they're not going to take 1200, and if you already continued playing, I mean, they're not going to be like, oh, you're right, I'll take 1200, unless it's like in practice. So don't forget that. It can make a difference. And here's another kind of subtle ruling. It involves reading cards carefully, I know. You're groaning. But you gotta do it. So, I'm going to do this. Okay, the important part here is that you have the trap card in here. Okay. Ignore that. Okay. So let's say you're playing against somebody else who's playing the deck or whatever. They normal summon, during their turn, they normal summon Tai A. And they have something in graveyard. You know they're going to activate Tai A. So you want to get rid of it. So then you try to flip the trap to destroy your Xiangjian and the Tai A. So let's say they impermed your Xiangjian, so you can't use it to negate. So you want to destroy it. Can you do that? No, you can't. Because Sudden Shift says target 1 worm monster you control and 2 cards your opponent controls. It doesn't say up to 2 cards your opponent controls. It says 2 cards. It has to be exactly 2 cards. If they only have 1 card on the field, you cannot activate it. Sucks to suck. But you can wait for him to, say, summon out the token and then do it. But, yeah, don't try to do it when you have one card. Yeah, like that. If they have two, then sure, go for it. Here's another subtle one. This one's kind of silly. I didn't realize it until like last week. But play is this card here, Vessel for the Dragon Cycle. Let's say this is your hand, and you really want to go into your synchro, so you normal summon Moyi and reveal this card. Ignore that. For some reason it sometimes clicks on end phase, just ignore that. So you try to reveal Vessel for the Dragon Cycle. Can you do that? Nope. Why? Because it's not a Swordsoul card. It is not a Swordsoul / Xiangjian card. It's just called Vessel for the Dragon Cycle. And Moyi has to reveal a worm monster or a Swordsoul card. This is neither. It doesn't say it in the title. And this is kind of confusing because people use this card a lot in this deck, and it's related to worms, but it's not. It even looks kind of like the other Swordsoul card, the one that special summons from graveyard, but it's not. So you can't. Okay, so here is the next play. Fast forward here. Start off with Pot of Prosperity. Let's just say you get in Moyi here, and you summon your token, go into Xijiao, then you go Chainlink 1, Xijiao, Chainlink 2, Moyi. But can you do that? No, you can't do that. Why? Because you activated Pot of Prosperity already. Pot of Prosperity says you cannot draw cards by card effect during the turn you activate it. So you can't activate Moyi as Chainlink 2, or you can't activate it at all if you've already used Pot of Prosperity. You can only do Xijiao here. And same goes in reverse. If you first summoned Xijiao off of Moyi and you use Moyi as effect to draw, you cannot use Pot of Prosperity in the same turn. Same with Talents, drawing 2 cards. Another one that's easy to mess up here. This one can screw you over pretty badly if you do it. Say you're like have a not very good hand, you have to go into Shaman of the Tenyi here. Sometimes you have to. It's not that often, but I think it's a pretty good card. So you discard 1 card and special summon any worm monster from the graveyard. So you go into Tai A here. Declare its effect, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Then you can summon your token. Then you go into Xijiao and you attempt to activate its effect. Chainlink 1, Xijiao. Chainlink 2, Tai A if you want. But wait, you can't. Why? Because Shaman says you can discard 1 card, then target 1 worm monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot activate the effects of monsters special summoned from the extra deck except Tenyi monsters. Not worm monsters, Tenyi monsters. And Xijiao is not a Tenyi monster, so you can't activate it. Okay, and here is the second to last one here. Let's say you go into Xijiao during your first turn, your opponent goes into Baroness or whatever. Let's say you try to activate the Dragon Sword here to add a Xiangjian to your hand, but Baroness tries to negate it, and then you try to negate Baroness here with Xijiao. Okay, that's fine, you can negate it, and then appears, resolves, so you get your Tai A. Normal, go into, you activate it, then go into another Xijiao. Then you try to do Xijiao, Chainlink 1, Tai A, Chainlink 2. But wait, you can't do that. Why? Because Xijiao says you can only use 1 Xijiao effect per turn, and only once that turn. Since you already used this one's negation effect, you can't use either effect from this one. Too bad. So this last one here, probably going to happen sometimes in the meta because people are going to be citing in Token Collector. To deal with this deck, it's pretty good at shutting down the deck. So let's say you're playing it, or you're playing against your opponent who has it. You have Needle Fiber. Past turn, you go into they summon Tai A here, and you want to get Token Collector in the graveyard because when Tai A uses its effect, you summon Token Collector, and then you basically shut them down for the turn. So Needle Fiber, you have to use it during main phase, obviously. Needle Fiber, banish. You go into Shooting Riser Dragon, and then this lets you foolish any monster here, a monster that's lower level. So you can foolish Token Collector here, and then Tai A uses its effect here, and then summons a token, and then you attempt to activate Token Collector. But wait, you can't do that. Why? Because of Shooting Riser Dragon. Yep, this one has quite a bit of text, but you gotta read this. You can summon one monster from your deck to the graveyard whose level is lower than this card's on the field, and if you do, reduce this card's level by that monster's. But for the rest of this turn, you cannot activate the effects of monsters with the same name the sent monster had in the graveyard. You don't need to read the rest of that, but yeah. So you can't activate Token Collector if you sent Token Collector to the graveyard during the same turn. One way you can get around this is during your turn you can make Shooting Riser Dragon, since it's generic, level 7. And then you dump the Token Collector, and then next turn, when they summon a token, you can activate its effect. Well, hopefully this video taught you something new, or at least reminded you of some of the things you can and can't do with this deck. It's going to be very important to keep this stuff in mind as tournaments start back up, and this deck is probably going to be very popular. Yeah, that's the last of the replays. Let me know if you guys want me to do a similar video for the Plunderies deck. I wouldn't say it's quite as extreme as the Swordsoul deck, but there are definitely some weird rulings with that one too. Yeah, just let me know. Thanks for watching.